Hi guys, my name's Sib Tudor, I'm the man on Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I want to talk about something that was kind of brought up in a video that I saw on here on YouTube from Troy Levitt, who's a game developer. He worked on things like Disney Infinity and stuff like that. Go and check out his channel because he comes up with some really interesting stuff, and also he's got some experience in game design from actually being in the industry that he's very kind of open with sharing as a result of some of the things that he addresses in his videos. But he was talking about XCOM and how you do a fair number of different games. He brought up XCOM specifically, if I could speak, um, in regards to how they deal with the kind of representation problem of having male and female and different races and whatever else, and how in general there are no complaints about those kind of games, or at least there shouldn't be. And the thing that stood out to me in what he was saying was, we need a good old alien invasion. At the moment you've got identity politics running amok because we've got nothing else outside of us as a threat. Yeah, we've got no other predators, nothing else to perceive as being dangerous. We've only got ourselves, and as a result, we in perceiving each other as threats, as dangerous in various ways, we lose something. We lose that empathy for one another. We lose that connectivity, that ability to associate with one another on just the basic level of us all being the same and stuck on this rock together. And I was, thinking about it, and it's like this is where you've got the kind of much broader fantasies of things like zombie apocalypses or alien invasions, or even in fantasy where you've got the more human-like, intelligent races of the world of like dwarves, men, elves, and so on, who are all basically human with a couple of minor variations here and there, all teaming up against the big bad of some description. A disembodied eye on the top of a tower, or a collection of angry dragons, or whatever. It's always giving us another predator, something else that is more powerful than us, that forces us to realize that we are all the same. Now, I tend to look at this more from a biological perspective in a lot of ways. Um, as I have done in videos, I always go back to, oh well, when we were animals, oh, when we're living in caves, in that kind of tribalistic, or almost herd pack based kind of structure. All of these things made sense, and they do. But then you look at the modern world, and now they don't make sense anymore, and that's where some of the problems are anyway, because people aren't aware of how we've developed, and as a result, the history of our development is kind of put to one side, and it's easy for people to ignore. But when you've got another apex predator, something else that's outside of ourselves, it's easy for us to band together and work together, ignoring everything else, regardless of who we are, what we look like. And I was thinking, how on earth could we possibly bring this kind of thing to the world at large? Yeah, how could, because right now we're being divided again and again and again and again on so many different grounds, to do with identity, to do with ideology, to do with everything under the sun. Um, Level of education, level of income, level of arrogance and ignorance that you express, political views, every single other thing conceivable. Seemingly at the moment, you can be divided by and set at odds against other people. And the thing that stands out, I was like, well, how can we get people to take the same side against something else? Because we can't have it be people. That's the problem. And the thing that stood out to me was, look at how powerful Pokemon Go was when it first came out. You had gamers who would never leave the house, like running everywhere. You had people who were otherwise not really interested in gaming going everywhere. You had old people. The person who has the highest level Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and who I believe has the largest collection as well, is something like 70, 79 years old, something like that, as far as I'm aware. You know, someone who you really wouldn't expect to just be out wandering the street doing that kind of thing. And I'm just thinking, we've got the technology to bring people together. You know, in you know, with Pokemon Go, you had people like firing shots at each other over which like gym leader they were following, and you know that was all more in jest and as a joke. But again, you have people taking those divisions to extremes sometimes. You know, even small divisions, even divisions that we have innately that are there for survival purposes, people are now attacking each other over for no reason when we work together far better than not. And so I was thinking, like, considering Troy Levitt's point that he was discussing in specifically in regards to games and things anyway. But it's like, why not set this up? Why not make it as engaging as Pokemon Go? Let's make this thing. Let's make something larger, yeah, that sets everybody on the same side. The ultimate fantasy PvE that allows us to engage together, regardless of who you are, what you are, where you are. Yeah, there are still problems in the world, sure, but imagine how much we could do to deal with those problems and those issues if we were all able to focus on being on the same side. If we all had something that linked us together more easily. Would it be hard to do? Yeah, probably. But as said, we've already seen systems that are doing it really well. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Good God, Twitter. A day I never thought the day would come where I was complimenting Twitter for bringing people together. But again, yeah, Pokemon Go, all these social media environments that have other elements to them to allow people to come together, to group together, to work together. You know, I'm maybe not necessarily the person to speak to the exact mechanics of how you do this, but it seems like we have the capacity to expand, and that if what we need is a good old alien invasion or a zombie apocalypse, then that's something that could be provided in a safe and comfortable way that still allows people to meet, get together, and work functionally. You know, the number of people that were finding dates by going and using Pokemon Go, the number of people that were going out and just meeting people as a result of using the Pokemon Go app, people who were overcoming social anxiety and issues where they felt that they couldn't leave the house, all due to this one app, this one game. You know, it was quite incredible to see, and it was a shame that the guys running it, Niantic and so on, kind of dropped the ball on it and kind of made changes that made it kind of less of what it was when it first began. Because if they had kept that momentum going at the beginning, that could have been something absolutely spectacular. So, you know, it's an interesting set of ideas. The fact that we're an apex predator now. There's nothing that we haven't been able to either kill or in some way either undermine or control. And as a result, all we're left with is each other, for both better and worse. And the longer we spend with each other, the worse it gets, because there's less of the better to go around. And as a result, whilst most of the world don't care, they're this big, mediocre kind of grey slush that, you know, they just live to live, they keep going, eventually they get to maybe some of the places they want to go, some of the places that they want to go they just can never achieve, and it just ends up being this place where most people are just rolling through. But then you've got the small minorities at either end that start creating these huge fractures. And imagine what would happen if we got everybody invested in these new technologies, these new ways of gamifying cooperation, the gamification of kind of connecting with other people, the gamification of working in concert with other individuals, that moves completely beyond politics, moves completely beyond all of these other things, so that you could go engage with this stuff and work with it. We're getting to a point in time now where the people that are running the world and who are causing an awful lot of these divisions in various ways as well, are all outside of a lot of these new social media things, and they're having to be advised on it and bought into it by people who want them to succeed. But imagine if we had a place where we couldn't be led in different directions because there was one objective for us all to work towards. Where cooperation, where teamwork, where communication was a means by which we could achieve en masse. Even in a thing that didn't actually have any real bearing on reality. Imagine if that was a thing that we could do. Wouldn't that be great? Give us a good basis for how we can connect and cooperate and work together that then we can transfer into the real world. You know, there are new technologies now being used, kind of virtual reality systems that are being used for therapy to help people kind of get used to environments that cause them anxiety, stress, panic attacks, whatever, in a completely safe environment that they can remove themselves from at any moment. Imagine if that situation that we were trying to remove ourselves from was this kind of overwhelming, divisive, kind of thrust out of various ideologies and ideas into the world at the moment, and we were able to analyze, communicate, and work better with other people just as a result of doing something fun. Wouldn't that be great? But as said, I'll leave a link down in the description to Troy Levitt's video that inspired these thoughts, and I'd really be interested to hear your thoughts on this as well. You know, do you think that maybe I'm going a bit over the top with this? Do you think maybe that there's that as much as say Pokemon Go and other games like it, and other social media platforms like it have achieved that, you know, maybe solving some of the world's problems this way is maybe a bit too much of a stretch? Or do you think that, again, learning through games is a thing that's possible, and that we can manage this if it was something engaging enough, if it was well put together enough? You know, everyone loves Game of Thrones, right? To one extent or another. Let's have a Game of Thrones one and make it us versus the undead. It's the best of fantasy and zombie apocalypse all rolled into one. But yeah, otherwise I'd love to hear what you guys think. You know, what would you like to see in a game like this that would bring everybody together from all walks of life, all stripes, to learn to cooperate with each other and work together? What would you love to see? You know, but anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts, because, you know, maybe as much as I don't necessarily think that this video will go far enough to kind of reach anyone to make a difference in this regard, to actually start looking into these things. The idea being out there means it might be found at some point in the future, or someone might pass it on, and that's why I wanted to bring this to you today, guys. You know, and again, check out Troy Levitt's channel and all the rest of it, because he's got some great videos on there. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, I keep saying this, and I'm rambling now, so I'm going to stop. But anyway, thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much, guys. If you found this at all interesting or enjoyable, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.